Good afternoon. I think this is working. Pardon me for a second. I'm just checking to see that the audio levels are working here okay. It looks like we have Nest audio, and it looks like we're live here. So we will get started. Welcome, everyone. This is John Howe with the Raptor Resource Project, and we are going to spend a little bit of time here this afternoon having our second Decorah Eagles Ed Talk here, education talk, and just have decided to do these as they've been requested, and we're hopefully going to make these kind of fun here. We already have our captive subjects here that are here for you, and those are the Decorah Eagles, Mom particularly right now, but hopefully we can have some interesting folks come on and talk. And today's subject is going to be talking about the development of the eagle egg and what's happening inside that egg for this period of over a month here. What's going on inside that egg that we can't see. And then we'll talk a little bit about what to look for here now as eggs are getting ready to hatch. We are getting close to that, so we'll talk more detail about that. But first off, I just want to welcome everyone. We've got our Decorah Eagles chat group and everybody who's watching with our moderators there. We have the education chat on the Chat Free Eagle Education page with our moderators there. If although it's not from classrooms like it has been, now we are doing pretty much most everything remote, right? So welcome to those folks, and welcome to the majority of everyone here now with shelter at home and staying cooped up and trying to learn from home and figure out how to do all this stuff on a computer. So welcome to those groups. We also have our watchers that are coming through our partner interface on explore.org also. So welcome this afternoon. I'm at Command Central. I've been here today, and I guess I just wanted to mention that Mom Decorah has been pretty much on the nest while I've been here. A little bit of rain, they're talking about snow. A big thanks to all that helped make this happen, and the whole house family. I was just here earlier and looking at the lawn, and the lawn is going to need to be mowed here pretty soon, and Brian was at the hatchery. Brian said to say hi. Not many people here right now, and that's a good thing, right? So well, let's get started. And as you're going through this, I guess my thoughts, and I want to speak on behalf of our moderators and our educators and our teachers, all that help out. We have this new interface with the lesson plans, so it's perfect timing for people who are trying to teach from home. It's available to parents, it's available to teachers, it's available to anyone who wants to take these lesson plans that have been put together by eagle-loving teachers who do an unbelievable job of putting lesson plans together and have been doing these things over the years. So raptorresource.org on our website. There's also an interface for the lesson plans on the explore.org at the top of the page for the education section. So let's get started talking here about what's going on with the eagle eggs. And I guess we've got the eggs here, and I'm just going to take a quick peek here and see what we've got for ages. And looking at the website here, I see that our first egg is 36 days and 20 hours old, so almost 37 days old. The second egg is 33 days, 19 hours old, and the third egg is 29 days and 20 hours old. So that 37 to 40 day period is when we expect biologically that eaglet is going to start poking through the egg and go for the hatch, right? So let's talk more about this. And I'm excited here today because we have a special guest that we are going to be talking with, and that is Amy Reese, our own Amy Reese with the Raptor Resource Project. And Amy's done a fantastic job just with the blogs. I learned a lot going through, and we're going to talk with her today and bring her on. Amy, are you there?
I am, John. Thanks. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, and I think if I can, everyone else should be able to hear. So anyway, welcome, Amy. We're going to talk. I'm just going to make a little bit of a transition here from our welcome slide. We're going to go to a slide here, and I will let you talk about the Eaglet Development.
Okay, so hi everybody, and what John said, thanks for joining us. We're going to start at the very early stages of fertilization. So as a fertilized yolk travels through mom's oviduct, it begins dividing to form the basic template that underlies all vertebrate life. Think about us. We have insides and outsides. We have a front side and a back side, and we have top and bottom sides. At 4 days of age, so mom's probably just laid the egg, maybe it's a day or two old. The embryonic eagle looks more like a tiny tadpole than a bird, but it has basic life support structures like a heart, and it can transport materials through its developing circulatory system. We know that a little eaglet can't grow and develop without nourishment, and of course it doesn't have a placenta like us placental mammals. Early in embryonic development, 3 membranes seal around the eaglet, forming a womb of sorts that supports it as it grows. The egg yolk and some albumin provides nourishment, and the membranes exchange oxygen and gaseous waste with the outside world, which sets the stage for embryonic growth, right? Because you can have all the insides, outsides, tops, bottoms that you want, but without materials like nourishment and the ability to exchange gases, the eaglet can't grow. So if you look at the first eaglet at left, it has leg, wing, and tail buds, the beginnings of an eye, you can just see it there, and a clearly defined head. Since it lacks a beak and digital grooves, if you look real closely there, the digital grooves are the precursors of wings and toes. It's probably around 6 days of age. At 9 days of age, which we don't see here, our little eaglet will have stiff differentiated limbs, the beginnings of a beak, and although obviously it's cloacal, we can't see it, it will have a defined sex. If you look at eaglet 2, you'll see that looks a little bit more like a bird. It's about 50% of the way to hatch. It has a beak. If you look real close, you can see its little beak, toes, bent limbs, and eyes that take up most of its head. But it needs to develop scales, nails, rough pads, and down feathers. So you can think of this sort of being naked at this point. It's got the basic structures laid into place. It has the organs it needs, but it has yet to develop its sort of outside coverings, and there's a lot of room for growth in its organs yet. It's also a lot smaller than it looks in this image. Our eaglet takes up maybe at this point about 1/8 of the volume of the egg. By 24 days of age, about 65% of the way to hatch, or the third eaglet from the left, most of the major changes are done. It still looks kind of weird if you take a look at it. Its eyes need to grow into its sockets. Its natal down has to grow from feather germs, and again, it has to get a lot larger. If you look at its limbs, you can also see we still need a little bit more differentiation in the digits, although the tail buds are there and fairly well formed. It also has tiny ear holes. You can see that, and of course at this point, not only has a beak, it has an egg tooth. So it's set for hatching in almost every way, except its intestines need to be drawn into its body cavity needs to seal, and of course it needs to get a lot larger. Now if you look at the second to last eaglet, that one is almost ready for hatching. This illustration doesn't show it, but it turned around so that its head is at the large or blunt end of the egg. If you've ever peeled a hard-boiled egg, you know there's an air space there. That has a purpose. The young eaglet will stick its head up into the airspace, breathe air with its lungs for the first time, and absorb the remaining yolk and albumin into its body to provide energy for hatching. So we pointed out the eaglet belly button or yolk sac scar, after it draws the egg into its body, and again, the yolk, excuse me, this is right before hatching, that zips up, but it leaves a little scar, the eaglet belly button or yolk sac scar. At this point, the hatching muscle, which is a one-time structure used only during hatch, and this is all going on, by the way, in the D34 egg right now, as far as we know, that muscle is going to contract, so it's going to sort of snap shut. That will pop the chick's head or the eaglet's head back. Its egg tooth, which almost, as John pointed out, is a little bit more like a ridge, because we can see so clearly with these cameras, will come into contact with the eggshell and cause it to crack. We don't see this, it hasn't hit the outside eggshell yet, but the long hatching process has begun. And again, this is probably what's going on in the eggshell right now. So.
That's great. And
from you, John, thank you.
Yeah, and we're going to take a look at a video creation of, it's actually chicken, but very similar in the video part of that, and you can hang on for that too, Amy, if you just want to mark out any major points that are happening. It does have some audio, some music to it, so I'll leave that on there, but I'm going to leave you on air if you want to make any comments with me while we go through this. But that diagram there, thanks to Dr. Sharp and the Institute for Wildlife Studies putting that sequential graphic together there, and Frank Lilly and William Silland for that artistry here. So we're going to take a quick check at Mom. It looks like she's still incubating, and nothing has changed there. Just from another angle, a little bit closer, we've got a beautiful view of her here. And earlier today, I was remarking, and we were zooming in and taking a look at some of the beating of the rain droplets on her feathers. Pretty amazing to see how the waterproofing of the feathers works there. So let's take a quick peek at this video here. I'm going to make this video live, and we'll talk about the credits here afterwards. I think everything is coming through. We've got our egg. Egg would have been laid. We're on day 1 now. Day 2, heart is forming. Cell there. There we go. Pretty neat, huh? Thanks to the poultryhub.org from Australia.
That was wonderful. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much for coming on, Amy. We'll finish here. And have a great rest of your Friday.
You too. We'll talk to y'all later, everybody.
So, right now we're looking at Mom Decorah, and I just thought there might be a chance that something might happen today. We're talking about biologically. We're right at that point where the eaglet is at that larger side of the egg. The air sac has been pierced, and they're starting to work on scoring the inside of that egg. One thing interesting about eggs, I just wanted to mention how neat it is about how eggs are designed. They're designed for, oh, I think Mom is going to get up, so I think we are going to take a quick peek here and see if we can get a shot of the eggs. Let's do that here. She's just coming in time here, and bear with me here. Let's see if we can take a quick peek. Let's just see if we can see any development in those eggs. What we're looking for would be that starring, that cracking on the egg. You can see Mom is rolling the eggs. Look at how she balls those talons up, and then she's going to push those eggs up after rolling them up into her brood patch for keeping them warm. I don't see, and I think you guys can agree with me there, that doesn't look like we have any signs of starring. Very interesting. Love how she anchors her beak there, and then she also takes the top of her feet and tucks those eggs and pushes them up into the brood patch area there. Isn't that neat? I am going to pull this back and get back to the talk here. So one thing I wanted to show you was the eggs, and you got to see that right firsthand, so that was really great. But I think the thing that we're looking for is that starring of the first crack in the egg. It becomes out of round. We can see a small hole developing, and we got some really good. Last year we had some amazing shots of D33, I believe it was, coming out. D33 was coming out, and you could see the beak moving around through the hole, and D32 was sitting there. So here is a video I'm going to show you, and this is one that you can see that happening. I'm going to pause it right now. But this is basically a video from back at N1, the original nest, and I think this. I'm just going to grab my notes here, but I believe this was D23, and this is a video that Bob took, but an amazing video. It's not in HD like the HD cameras we have today, but you can get a good idea of this. So let's watch this, courtesy of Bob Anderson. We're remembering some of the great things that you helped create and bring to us here that we're carrying on with this education program today. So we'll get the audio here. We're seeing quite a bit of cracking, and I think that eaglet's just about ready to come out. Now this is D23, that's probably D22, I'm guessing, next to it. We're getting further along, and it looks like just about to the point where enough energy to stretch and push through that. It looks like we've got a little bit further in time here, and there it goes. There's that big push. Stretching those legs out in that wing. And getting ready for maybe almost the first bobble here. Those incredible talons with all their strength right next to that very tender, just freshly hatched eaglet. So anyway, I am going to put this back on the live feed. We are done there. So I guess the big thing wanted to mention was, what we're looking for here. Eagles, they will do some standing off of the eggs after they are first laid, and we saw that last year with DM2, and we saw him really not sit down tight on those eggs at first. So I think some questions came up with our north nest up in Decorah about, the eaglets, D11, D12, hatching basically within 24 hours of each other. How does that happen? Falcons, other raptors, probably more so. I mean, right now, I believe our Great Spirit Bluff Falcons there, Nova and Newman, they got 3 eggs working on the 4th, and they still are not full-time incubating yet. So that's delayed incubation, and that does help with the either falcons or the eaglets hatching closer together. It gives a better chance of all of them surviving when they hatch closer. But we're probably going to have something similar to up at the Decorah North Nest. We usually have about maybe 2 days or so between hatching. Sometimes it can be a little bit longer than that, but it all depends on the development of that specific egg. So we're going to be looking for that starring and that crack in the egg. We could probably, with the quality of the audio here, we might be able to hear some of the audible of the eaglet before it actually cracks through, and then also while it's coming out of the nest. So we've got some pretty exciting things coming up here in the next week, and like I said, today was the day that this could start happening. It isn't happening yet, that we can tell, but keep your eyes peeled. And we are coming up here pretty close to a half an hour, so I'll be wrapping things up here. But just wanted to mention here that we really appreciate all the work from the cam operators and the moderators and all that help us bring this live cam and these live cams to you guys. And again, reminder, on the Raptor Resource Project website, raptorresource.org, and on explore.org, we've got the lesson plan links there under education. This is a great time to watch some nature. News from nature is what I like to call it, and get connected with nature while you're spending more time at home. Be safe, and it's a great opportunity to get more connected with your family, and that can be both human family and the families out there in nature. Decorah Eagles are welcoming us, and they don't seem to care. I think that we are all watching them. So thanks again. I'll probably jump on chat here, maybe Amy too, for some questions that come up if you guys have questions after this. But thanks so much for joining us. We've got D24 and D25 here that are thanking you in person, and stay safe and stay at home. And if you need to be out there, wash your hands and use your disinfection wipes, and we really appreciate all of you out there that are doing the healthcare workers and everybody else, and the educators. So have a great day, and thanks for joining us. We'll go back to Mom Decorah and her 3 eggs.